Well, Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th, but contrary to popular belief, that's not when the election begins. That's simply the final day to cast your ballot. 55 million people across the country have already done just that, and there are several days of early voting remaining here in Kentucky until Election Day. Secretary of State Michael Adams joined me in studio earlier today to discuss the importance of early voting and what's being done to ensure a safe and fair local election here in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, we have several days of voting, and we've been proud to introduce that to Kentucky. Early voting starts tomorrow, Thursday morning. Hours and locations vary. Go to our website, govote.ky.gov, to find your options. I'm going to strongly encourage voters to not wait until the last minute. Don't wait until the last day. Voting is the same every single day. It's no different, except the line is going to be a lot shorter if you vote early instead of waiting until Tuesday.
There seems to be this intrinsic belief that in order to have your vote counted, you have to show up on Election Day. You have to vote in person. A lot of people worried about, if I mail in my vote, will it get lost in the mail? If I vote early, will it be counted? To that, you would say what?
I'd say we have the same rules for voting before Tuesday that we have for voting on Tuesday. It is the exact same process. But let me give you an example. Last year, we had tornadoes in eastern Kentucky on Election Day during the primary. And folks that procrastinated and waited to the last minute didn't get to vote. They got disenfranchised by Mother Nature. So take no chances. The weather might not be as good. You might get stuck in traffic. Anything could happen. Don't take your chances. Vote early.
Right. 130,000 Kentucky voters requested an absentee ballot at last week's deadline. In-person excused absentee voting now up to 164%, you announced today. You're clearly impressed with these early numbers. These early numbers translate to what? What are you expecting on Election Day?
So when we had our 2020 election, that nationally was the highest turnout since 1908. Since William Howard Taft. I mean, that's how long it's been since we had that type of a massive turnout. Everyone I talked to thinks the turnout will be higher in 2024 than it was 4 years ago. And so we're prepared for that. We have more locations to vote at than we had 4 years ago. But we had 3 weeks to vote then. And now we have 4 days. So it's really important that we not wait till that last day. If we have 3 days of crickets and 1 day of crowds, it's going to be a long election day for the voters and for the poll workers.
Right. So much emphasis on voter safety, election integrity, especially with those ballots being set on fire in the Pacific Northwest, things like that. What's being done here to ensure a safe and fair local election here in the Commonwealth?
Fortunately, we have not seen tempers flaring like we have seen in some other parts of our country. Right. We have not received any threats to date against poll workers, against ballots, against me, against any of the election process or the election community. I'm very pleased. I hope it's peaceful everywhere on Election Day, but at least so far it's been fairly calm here.
And also you've taken great measures to clean up those voter rolls. What does that play in the election process? How big of a role is that?
Well, it's going to boost the turnout because when you have a smaller denominator, i.e. a smaller voter file than we had when I took office, that means that the turnout actually goes up. We have fewer voters registered today than we did when I took office 5 years ago because we've taken dead voters off and so forth. But it also adds convenience for voters because it takes just that less long for the poll worker to find your name because there's not 400,000 people on the rolls who shouldn't be there. So it makes it a more efficient process.
Right. And anything else you'd like to add for people who thinking about voting, don't know how, when, where to get out there? What would you, anything else you'd like to add to?
So the number one reason people tell me that they don't vote, if they don't, is they feel so intimidated by all the candidates, all the offices they don't really fully understand. Right. This is an open book test. You are allowed to go to our website. We encourage you to do that, sos.ky.gov. You can look at your sample ballot so that you're prepared when you show up to vote. Most of the stuff on the ballot is not partisan. If you're a straight ticket Republican or Democrat and you vote that way, that's a good start, but you only catch about a third of what's on your ballot. Especially here in Lexington, you've got city council that's not partisan. You've got a Supreme Court race that's not partisan. You've got constitutional amendments. You've got school board. They are not partisan. So look at our website to see what your options are when you vote and then be an informed voter.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us.